the Fitness Network podcast, and you are our episode 2.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah, so we want to cover everything that is fitness related. I mean, obviously both me and Matt come from a bodybuilding competing background, but you know, I think it's important for people to know all aspects of fitness, really. I don't know anything about powerlifting, so it'll be interesting for me to learn about it. Yeah,
Nice.
about your background, what you're doing now, what you're hoping to do. Yeah, so everything. So Matt knows you better than I do, so I will let him introduce you.
Awesome.
Well, I was going to do is say, Bobbie, why don't you introduce yourself? I mean, tell us what you're currently.
Oh, sorry, you cut off there. What did you say?
You know, the achievements you've done and so forth. So, what implications in what you do?
Okay, right, where do I start? So let's start with my powerlifting. So I've been doing powerlifting competitively since I was 16. I turned 26 this year, so I've been doing it for some time. I was competing with BDFPA first, then I went to Olympic weightlifting, and I've been with GBPF now for about 4 or 5 years. I've been selected for Team GB numerous times. I went to 2018 European Championships and 2019 World Championships. I was fortunate to get invited to this year's World Championships, which is supposed to be in Belarus, which I should be flying tomorrow. However, obviously,
No, you're not.
Due to lockdown and obviously everything that's going on with the virus, etc., obviously that got cancelled, obviously. So yeah, I was supposed to be competing at Worlds this week, which feels a bit strange to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my last competition, I was lucky, I was able to get in my national competition, which is at the beginning of March. It was just before lockdown, so I was able to get some PBs and things at that competition, which was really great. Yeah.
Nice.
If I remember correctly, you're also a strength and conditioning coach as well?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
So my undergraduate degree is in strength and conditioning. I've just finished a master's by research. I submitted my final thesis in April, just gone. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I've actually passed. I'm waiting for the final kind of tick to say, yes, you've done everything that we asked. Here is your certificate. That's what I'm waiting for. So yeah.
Not just brawn, you have brains. I love it.
Well, I try, you know, don't know about that, but I try my best.
She's come a long way since the days of Dudley.
Oh my days, yes. Yeah, all those years ago, many years ago, I worked in
many
Dudley.
years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll pop the first question to you. How did you first get into powerlifting? What inspired you to do this?
Okay, so I've always been into weights, as you will know, Matt, from knowing like a bit of my history. I've been doing weights in my bedroom from the age of 8 years old. I love lifting stuff. I had like my own set of dumbbells and all sorts in my bedroom. And it wasn't until I actually went to college, my first thing I wanted to do after school was to be a personal trainer. And I'd known that for a very long time. So that's what I did first. And when you do personal training, obviously you have to learn how to lift. I'd never been to a gym before this point, but I'd just done stuff in my room. And I remember we were teaching everyone how to do deadlifts. And I didn't really know what I was doing. And I was deadlifting with the guys, and we were just like seeing like what it was about. And I deadlifted 100 kilos. And I had no idea at the time what that meant or anything. And one of the wonderful tutors, they were fantastic at Dudley College, they really were, called Martin Beeston. He's actually got his own gym now. And he said, have you ever heard of powerlifting? And I was like, no. Did some research. A few months later, I entered my first comp. And that was it. Yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. So was that your first coach when you first competed?
I guess you could say that. He wasn't like an official coach, I guess, like what we would associate with that now. Like he was very good at, if I had any questions, I was able to ask him, sort of thing. And he was actually there competing himself at the first competition, so he was extremely helpful. I actually borrowed his pink Love Heart deadlift socks and his belt on my first competition. There's a picture of that somewhere. It's quite the sight. I'm wearing running trainers and a Michael Jackson t-shirt and all sorts. So yeah,
that sounds like a winning combo.
Exactly. So it's very different to the attire I wear on the platform now, I must say. But yeah, he's definitely the person that guided me, but I didn't have a coach per se.
Okay.
So, is there anybody that inspired you in the early days to do powerlifting, and has this changed, or is there something that inspired you?
Okay, I like this question. I get asked this question and I constantly think about it. There was nothing specific that ever inspired me externally to compete in powerlifting. It was all very internal. Potentially it came from, I had very little self-confidence, and I still struggle with this now. And it was just something that I wanted to do for myself. I wanted to see what I could do and how I could push my body. And obviously you learn a lot about yourself. You guys know, as competitors, you know, you have to go into some, you know, deep dark places to get some stuff done, you know. So yeah, that sort of thing, nothing initially inspired me. However, I'm inspired every day by other people who are just dedicated to their goals, and they're willing to put the best they possibly can into every day. So that's kind of my inspiration. There's no specific person. Just if I just see someone and they're doing what they love and they are making the most out of themselves, that's amazing, and I love that side of things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Totally agree. Okay, so obviously when me and Matt compete, we have to be very, very tight with our food. Everything has to be absolutely perfect to the gram. Is that something that you have to do? Because you have to make a weight class, don't you? Is that right?
That is correct. Yes, I have to make a weight class. Yeah. I've always been someone who tracks ever since I was younger. Just mainly to see macros, how many calories I need. I've been cutting for competition since I was 16. I was once upon a time a 52 kilo lifter, and it got to a point where, I think Matt will know, it got pretty hard to stay at a 52 kilo lifter. That was when I was Olympic weightlifting as well. So
I remember when we were working together at the gym, and every time we walked into the office, Bobbie always had a head in a Tupperware box.
Yeah.
Oh,
how tall are you, Bobbie?
I am 5 foot. On the dot.
Okay, so we're about the same height then, right? Okay, got you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, I've had to focus quite a lot on nutrition. I love my food. I could eat a lot. Like, I feel like if I didn't track, I'd eat so much. I'd be so overweight.
You can eat a lot.
Yeah. So I try my best to be consistent. I feel like that's important. Where I really learned about nutrition and what works for myself is, I was a 63 lifter when I first came back to powerlifting after a period of injury and illness and things. And I dropped down, I think 2 years ago now, actually, was my first competition as a 57, which is what I compete at now. And I found it very easy, mainly because I was just consistent with the nutrition. And that was really helpful. And I got to work out what works for myself, which I'm assuming you guys do, obviously, in your sport to a whole different level as to what I've had to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, I would say that coaches also have a style as well. They have things that they like to do, like, you know, some are very, very into like carb cycling or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you eat very, very clean foods as well? Like, what's a kind of typical day for you per se with food?
Okay, yeah, I do try my best to eat as clean as possible. To be honest, I can get more food in that way as well, which is always beneficial.
Yeah.
So like, so for example, today, this is quite a typical day, I would say, and I did a heavy squat session as well, so I've eaten a little bit, added a bit extra onto my calories. But so I start off the day with bacon and eggs nowadays. Sometimes I add in bread. Bread is a treat for myself because it can like make me bloated and stuff. So bread is a treat. So I did have bread this morning with spinach and tomatoes. And then whilst I was at work, I had a homemade protein cookie. I had some peas. You know those pea crisps things? Have you seen them in Aldi? I had those.
Yeah.
I like those. They're really good because you can eat. Because I'm doing care assistant work at the minute, so I'm driving a lot, and I'm there like while I'm driving, munching away. Jesus. And then, off top of my head, I then had some blueberries, strawberries, yogurt, and muesli. A few hours later, I had a portion of cottage pie. Before training, I can't remember exact porridge potentially I had before training, porridge of raisins. Had then a protein shake after training, and then I just had for my treat at the end of the week fish chips and mushy peas.
Oh,
Yeah,
do you know what? My mum can attest to this. I swear to God, every plate I'm always like fish and chips, just really, really.
yeah.
And then when I can have it after a show, I never have it. Oh, that's
It's
a good
hilarious.
You needed that food because I watched your Instagram just on squatting, 170 kilo squat.
Yeah.
Wow.
This
I was
girl
really,
is a strong girl.
I was really happy with that because I've only done 170. I've only ever had 170 on my back in competition. So it was awesome to be able to do it in training, and I'm quite fatigued as well. My back is very sore from deadlifts and things like that. Training is quite tough at the minute. So I was really happy with that. I'm building to a big double over the next few weeks, so that's a big confidence booster to be able to hit 170 in training at this stage.
Yeah. So is it correct? So when you compete with powerlifting, is it that you do bench press, squat, and deadlift? Is that right, or do you pick one of them?
So that is correct. Yes, you do squat, bench, and deadlift, and you can do bench only competitions. I've never done that myself. I just prefer doing all three in one competition.
Okay.
But yeah, you can do just the bench by itself, I think.
Oh, okay.
How do you mentally prepare yourself for a comp?
Oh, this is quite the topic. If anyone's ever seen my lifting, I'm quite a vocal person.
Wow.
The hype is not internalized. Everyone in the stadium can hear when I'm about to come on the platform.
I love it.
But, very frequently commented on, how can such a big voice come out of such a little person? But in terms of mental preparation, I've done quite a lot of talks on this and seminars, and it's quite difficult to explain because it's something that it's very specific to an individual, I think. But I get very nervous person. So what I try and do is make sure that on any approach to a competition, I aim to not think about the competition until it's there, if that makes sense. So it's like, right, there's no point in me worrying at night when I need to get to sleep. So it's like, take each step at a time. And that's how I approach competition day. I keep it simple. I control what I can control, and I focus one task at a time. And that's quite a consistent thing throughout training, throughout run-up to competition, and the competition day itself.
Do you have to be careful? Like, so do you have like a peak week kind of thing as well?
Yeah. So my peaks can last about 3 weeks. The last week is I'll build up to something quite a high stimulus, and then I'll taper off. That's normally what kind of happens. It can vary from cycle to cycle depending on where my coach thinks I'm at, how much do I need to taper, when, etc. And because I've been doing it for longer and longer, over time that's also changed slightly, but the general rule is pretty similar.
Okay.
Right.
You don't like overexert yourself in the last week then to kind of save yourself a bit for the comp?
Yeah, so for example, normally I'll take my last deadlift about 10 days out. I'll take from the competition day. I'll take my last squat about a week out, and then I'll take my last bench normally 5 days out, and then there'll be other sessions in the week, maybe 2 or 3 more sessions, normally 2 in the week, where they're like lighter percentages, so something like 75% of my projected 1RM.
Right.
And I'll do squat, bench, deadlift on each one. I don't personally think that having a complete week off for myself is beneficial, because you lose a lot of neural adaptation to the weights. So you see a lot of people, they'll have a week off training and the weights feel really heavy. That's because you've detrained, especially for someone of my size and being female, because females generally recover a lot quicker. Yeah, I have to be careful with that. So I'm normally training at least 2 days out from competition.
Mm. That's so that's interesting that you say with females that we don't. I heard, but I don't know whether this is true. That men build muscle quicker than women, obviously because of their testosterone levels. But women can retain muscle better. Is that?
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard.
I'm not sure. I'd like to say yes. I'd like to say
Me too.
from my current knowledge, I think that is correct. However, I haven't read research on that recently, so it might have changed from the last time that I've had a look. Because these sorts of things are continuously, more research is coming out. It's quite difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. It's always the way with science. Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on. I mean, like me and myself and Rosy, we take off seasons, which are normally obviously over Christmas and so forth, before the season starts up again. Do you do the same sort of thing? When's your off season, and when do the comps start up again for you?
Okay, yeah. So I'll give you last year as an example. Normally off season comes after Worlds because of where they are in the competition calendar. So normally now you've got nationals at the beginning of the year, so say February, March time, and then from that you'll find out if you've been selected for the international team. I'm very fortunate the past 2 years that has been the case for myself. And then normally then Worlds is about June time, and then you've normally got until November, December till Europeans. That's the current competition calendar. Last year I didn't do Europeans because I was finishing my masters. I wanted to prioritize that, and I'd done 3 big competitions back to back, only 12 weeks between each one. And my coach and myself, I could tell when I went to Worlds, my warm-ups, my coach didn't say this at the time, but he said you could tell in your warm-ups that like the fatigue is just getting too much. So he was happy for me to have a longer off season. So that's normally what happens at the minute when I'm selected for Team GB. That helps.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. You kind of, I think you can burn yourself out, and only people around you kind of realize. I think it takes you a while to realize. I think definitely, and they've realized.
Absolutely. This is why coaches are so important, because they can see it from a different perspective. Their emotions are taken out of it because they can see you on the surface what's going on. So.
Oh yeah, there's loads of times coming into competition where I think, God, I'm still fat or something like that. It's not till I look back, coach will say, no, we're fine, we're perfect, we're where we need to be. And then I'll come back after the show, look at the phone, I'll be like, yeah, I definitely wasn't.
I love it. It's helpful to have that coach's perspective, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, because I think sometimes you get to the point where you almost don't trust your own judgment anymore on it. And you just need someone else to maybe even confirm what you do know, but you kind of don't believe in a way. I get that. So what are your current and your future goals?
My current goals, oh gosh, I guess right now it's difficult to say because of this lockdown madness. My current goals for, do you mean like for training or just life in general?
Yeah, both.
Oh, okay, cool. So both very unsure. But it would be great for the current goals. So I'm hoping that for my training, I double on squat 175. That'd be awesome because that's what I got at my last. That was my PB at my last competition. And after the 170 today, feeling a bit more confident for that. I was actually did my bench press this week, and the aim at the beginning was to double 106, but my coach said do a 110 single instead. So I benched 110 kilos, which was great. So that was my kind of current goal for this block. I was very, very pleased with that. And we think we could have doubled it as well, which is very exciting because I didn't expect that. And it'd be great if I could deadlift 182.5 for a double. Again, that was my PB at my last competition for March. So that'll be awesome. That's my kind of current training goals. My kind of future goals for powerlifting is to just be the best that I can be, to be the best powerlifter and to get the absolute most out of myself I possibly can. Whether that means I'll become world champion, that'll be amazing. Whether that means I become female best lifter, awesome. Or even if it means people completely like blow me off in a competition and that I drop down to the top 10 in the pack. But I still do the best that I can possibly do. Like that really means a lot to me. Ultimately, world champion. That's a goal of mine.
Not Olympic something.
Unfortunately, powerlifting is not in the Olympics.
Oh, isn't it?
So, unfortunately, that can't be a goal. It would be great if powerlifting was, because that would obviously be, aiming high. That would be a goal.
Are they campaigning to get it in the Olympics?
They are trying, yes, they are trying to. I'm not sure whether they will. We'll see. They have been trying.
Is it a drug tested sport?
Yes, you've got different sectors of it. I think similar to bodybuilding. You've got natural athletes. That's IPF, GBPF, a few others that I can't quite remember. BDFPA, they're drug tested federations. And so that's what I compete for. And then you've got non-drug tested federations as well.
Okay.
So apart from working with me, what's the most proud moment in your career at the moment?
Oh my gosh. Sheesh. My most proud moment in my career.
Nothing tops that.
I know, you set the bar so high now. It's difficult to think now. I must admit, when I got bronze at Worlds last year, and I was next to two people, the first and second place, who there was only 2 kilos between them, it was amazing. I just couldn't believe it. It was mind blowing that I was able to be next to people of that caliber. So that was a pretty proud moment. In terms of academically, like actually completing my degree, handing in my master's thesis, 2 things that I'm very, very proud of. And hopefully more things can be achieved in the academic sector, maybe a PhD. Gluttony for punishment and all that,
No, it's amazing feeling that, handing in, I think, your thesis. I remember that.
Amazing.
Did you get a paper out of it?
I'm hoping so. I was hoping to deliver my research at a conference called UKSCA. Unfortunately, because of lockdown, it's been postponed and things. But I'm hoping I'm going to start writing my manuscript and try and get it published, which will be awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice little accolade to add.
Yeah, I think so. My tutors believe that there's scope for it to be published and to be made into a manuscript. So yeah. Do you say you did a master's, Rosie?
Yeah, I'm a science background, but I'm ecology. So
okay.
my thesis I did in Malaysia, sticking tags on frogs.
Oh wow, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's very different. It's quite funny because when I go into work and they do ask me about my competing, but they don't understand anything about it. And then anyone in the gym doesn't understand what my job is. So it's great. I live an incognito life where nobody knows anything that I do really. So
That's awesome.
Notice I'm staying quiet in this. No academic whatsoever. So I'm quiet now.
But life experience.
Exactly.
So where, because of lockdown, where are you training now? So.
In my underground car park.
I love it.
Literally, next to my car, all of my stuff is locked up in a bike shed, and I get it out every time I train and pop it in the car park, and there you go.
Yeah. Do you know, this is one thing that I really, really love watching in lockdown. The amount of things that people have come up with to still get their workouts in, like
I know.
Using wheelie bins for their squat rack and stuff like that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. People are
it's brilliant. And yeah, I mean, honestly, the amount of things, like my dad made me weights out of some bricks and sticks to start with. But now I believe that there is nothing that he cannot make. So
I just use my son. He climbs on my back. He climbs on my back on the lunges. Yeah.
He was
I love
loving
it.
that.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Oh,
have you guys been able to like continue training of some sort?
I've managed to get hold of, my friend gave me some weights about 3-4 weeks ago, just a small bar with about a maximum of 30 kilo on it. So I'm just doing what I can with that, with some bands. My cardio's just gone out the pan. But on weekends I go for a walk. I've tried running and I was starting to enjoy it. I think it was last week, my insertion to my calf had just gone. So I left it and I tried to go for a run on, I think it was Tuesday this week. I got 50 meters up the road and it went again. So I was like, that's it.
Oh no.
Old age kicking in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a bike at the moment so I can get some cardio in. So yes, cardio wise it's a bit of a struggle, but lifting's not too bad. Not too bad for me. What about you, Rose?
That's good.
Well, so I had a cross trainer at mine because I had it about 2 years ago when I started prep because I had to do an hour cardio every single morning. So I used to roll out of bed onto the cross trainer.
Oh my gosh.
I know, but the thing is, so I live in like a top floor flat, not far from Windsor, and I've basically was at my parents' when lockdown happened in Cardiff. So I am still here with mum and dad, and I have essentially turned their house into a gym. So they have no dining room now, and half the lounge is a cardio area.
Amazing.
yeah. So it's been good. I mean, I kind of, it took me a while to get a routine. It really hit me. I think, but it's because I was 6 days out from a show when lockdown happened, and I think.
Oh no.
I think it kind of all it hit me, but it hit me like a couple of days later. Everything, and I kind of, now I get up and I go for a nice walk in the morning, and I'll tend to listen to something like a podcast or something because I just find that it kind of clears my head before the morning, and I think, you know, walking isn't really, the impact isn't that bad, and yeah, but yeah, I'm still training and being in and out of prep really, but yeah, I kind
of, good.
You know, you come up with new ways to do it.
You do, yes, you do. No, that's good. Just making the most of what you've got, isn't it? That's
definitely.
Yeah.
So apparently we are running out of time, so we need to do our quick fire questions.
Quick fire round.
Yeah, I like
Go for it.
So we take one each. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll go first then. All right then. Bob's favourite guilty pleasure of food.
Oh Jesus, Stick round.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bear in mind, I have a picture of you.
oh God. Oh no, I know what's coming. I was going to say pizza.
12
Oh,
in
no. Yeah, I do like it. Do not bring that up, shall we? It's still on my Facebook. Right.
Let's just clear it up for the guys out there. This was a gym night out, weren't it? At
Oh,
our
yeah.
manager's apartment. And,
Oh God.
yeah, remember that, spilling all the wine over his
Yeah, I
carpet, lady.
Oh
And,
God. That's the first time I ever got drunk, was that day.
yeah.
Oh Christ. Oh yeah,
Painful combo.
I was gonna say pizza, because whenever I leave a competition, that's where we normally go. We normally go Pizza Hut. Or
Nice.
something like that. Yeah. I do love pizza. It's the bread, man. I love bread. It's just excellent.
Oh, I get you. Hidden talent.
Hidden talent. Let me think. My initial one was I can play the clarinet. I was part of an orchestra when I was younger. I haven't played it in a long time, so please don't ask to see said talent. But
no, that's fine. We will believe you. We will believe you.
Excellent. But yeah, I do like playing the clarinet when I was younger.
The favourite place you have been in the world?
Favorite place.
Don't say
can I have two? So my first ever holiday abroad was Greece, and that was 2 years ago. That was amazing. It was when I really opened my eyes to like what a foreign country could be like, different, like the weather of a different country. And I remember just looking up at the stars, and they came off the plane, and there was thousands and thousands and thousands of stars. That was amazing. And Sweden, because that's where I did my first World Championships.
Cool.
Nice. Okay, last one. What is your favourite lift? Is it bench, deadlift, or squat?
I get asked this question all the time. I don't have a favourite, and I genuinely can say that I love each lift equally. I really do.
I like it. Nice.
I suppose you've got to, haven't you?
Yeah. Like some people say to it at competition. I remember someone said, "Oh, it's bench now. It's the rest before deadlift," and I'm like, "What? What are you chatting? Like, I don't understand. How can you hate a third of your sport? What's wrong with you?"
No, that is a good point.
Like, you've only got 3 lifts to do. How can you hate one of them? No, I love each one. I think it's important to me personally to be a well-rounded athlete. So therefore, you have to put equal effort into each lift. So you know, it's the total that wins at the end of the day. Sometimes you might have a big deadlift, but that might not be the best thing. That might not get you that little bit.
Yeah.
Except I must say, Joy Naomi is amazing. She might listen to this, I'm not sure. She's an incredible deadlifter. And at Nationals, she matched my total. So we got the same total, but unfortunately, she was a kilo lighter than me. So she won the championships this year. And she closed a 31 kilo gap with her deadlift.
Wow.
So after squat and bench, I was 31 kilos ahead, and I knew that I had to pull something big to beat her. She deadlifted 213.5 or something like that, and she was 56 kilos. She's I think 3 times world champion. I'm sorry, Joy, if that's incorrect, if you are listening. She's insane. She's absolutely phenomenal. She's incredible.
Wow. I'm kind of glad
there
we don't need to be that strong for our sport. we just got to pretend that we like it.
I love it.
No, that's amazing. Well, thank you very much for coming on. And I learned loads. I didn't really know much about powerlifting, so that's really, really cool. And I like that you think about it as well. Like you think about it in a whole kind of way, like everything about it. I like it.
The enthusiasm's still there from all those years ago. He's so enthusiastic when we worked together. He's like, come on, let's do this, let's do this, let's lift this. Yeah, you also used to put the guys to shame in the gym. All those years back.
Oh gosh. Oh,
So,
back in the day.
Bobbie, are you taking on clients if people are interested?
Yes, yeah, I've been coaching for quite some time. I do a lot of online coaching, so very fortunately, due to lockdown, I was able to continue with a lot of my clients. I don't just do powerlifting coaching. I've got a very good sprinter. We've got cyclists. We've got MMA fighters, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters, and various people. But yes, I am there.
How can people contact you?
I think at the minute, because my business isn't fully formed, because unfortunately things have had to be put on pause, just my Instagram is probably the easiest, and it's a very easy name. It's just Bobbie Butters, and you'll find it on Instagram.
Love it.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
put your name on this. So
Amazing.
yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on. And
Thank you.
Oh no, thank you very
All the
much for
best.
inviting me.
No, all the
Oh,
best with
thank
your next
you.
competitions, and we hope
Thank you.
to see you world champ.
One day, even if it takes me 10 years, we're gonna give it a good go. Well, yeah, good luck to you guys in whatever endeavors you have going forward. Obviously, it's very unknown as to when things are going to work out, but just carry on doing what you're doing and doing the best you can. That's all you can do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
All right.
No problem.
Cool. Take care.
Yeah, you guys too. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye. Bye.